Taoist is really about the way. It's known as the way or the path. For many, it can be the path to enlightenment, you cultivating your health and achieving that level of alignment with the universe.
Hi everyone, welcome to Go All In Show here on ABC 15. I'm Nim Stan, your host, and I'm super excited to welcome my friend here with me, Tsao-Lin Moy, and I'm super excited. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we've been chatting for almost a year now, and finally we get time to really sit down and talk together.
Live.
That's so cool. Well, tell us a little bit about what you do. What is your backstory before you do what you do? Where were you?
Oh my goodness. I'm sure I went into East Asian medicine. Is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I actually come from a background in business. I was in the fashion business for some time. And, it was anybody who's worked in fashion knows that it's a soul-sucking kind of job. And really, before we were talking about mindset, that it's really very challenging. And, I looked at what do I really love and what can I bring together that about health and healing and something that you can grow into and help a lot of people, empower people with their health. And many little steps in between led me really on this kind of journey. And the journey was like to study East Asian medicine, so acupuncture, Chinese herbs, also hypnosis, lots of other techniques, energy techniques, and really to take a deep dive. And so that's where that's what happened to me before.
Wow. So I have been a client of like ancient medicine and all the energy work and all the thing that acupuncture, all the thing that you do. I have been client. I'm interested to learn, but never get a chance to learn. And I'm super excited to interview you about all of this today. So tell us a little bit about Asian medicine. Like, what is it exactly?
It's kind of like, okay, ancient medicine. Okay, so the practices of, and I'm going to call it like Chinese medicine, is really the origin, or at least they date back to somewhere like 3000 BC or even older, where there's documentation. But then we also know that it's older than that. And in Chinese medicine, there are like 8 branches, and includes, just as herbs, acupuncture, body work. But then there's also like exercise, food, meditation. There is the I Ching, which is also about the they call it the changes, the movement, and it's like astrology. And then we're looking also at feng shui, which is the art and science of placement. So we start to look at our relationship with the cosmos. And so the ancients really believed that in order to obtain optimal health, you would understand the transformations of the energy of the universe, how to manage that. And it's not outside yourself, but transformation of those energies within yourself, right? To understand like what your yin and yang balance internally. And one of the big, the components of Asian philosophy, let's say in general, and Chinese medicine and all of these practices is really about balance and harmony. So harmony within yourself, including your mind, right? And externally with your family, environment, right? And then the cosmos in a big way.
So when we talk about Chinese medicine, when you talk about the mind body connection, it doesn't relate it to any specific religious, isn't it? Or
no, it's really it's much more about spiritualism. So when you see actually very closely with the Taoist principles, principles are involved. So you start to see that it really, so Taoist is really about the way. It's known as the way or the path.
Mm.
So for many, it can be the path to enlightenment,
Yes.
which is very similar to Buddhism and Zen and all of these ideas about you cultivating your health and achieving that level of alignment with the universe and everything around. So that's the principle is you and your best health are in alignment and in balance with everything. So it's a constant practice, really.
Mm-hmm.
So religion are methods to do
Right.
like more ideas, but really it's really about being conscious and connected.
I love it. I love it. I feel like lately, maybe because I surround myself with people like you know, talking about my body spirit connection and about natural way to heal yourself. I feel like more and more people are interested about this topic and apply to use in their daily life, even like teaching little children about that too. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, in Asia they teach in school. I mean, they do. They teach it in school because it's very much connected with the culture,
Yeah.
right? So it's not the medicine is not like here. Everything is kind of like separated because of the ideas of science and religion, right? That's a very Western idea. We got to separate it. But when you apply it to the person, it also creates this separation of the person. And when they're not well, you really need to have the whole picture, right? You're treating that whole person, all of them. You know, their emotional components, their energy, whatever physically is visible, right? To treat the whole person.
So how can one person look into themselves when they like, you know, sick or have a headache, for example, someone just like the end of the day they have a headache and they're just about to grab ibuprofen, right? From the book, you know, and then it's just like routine, right? Like habits of like taking the medicine right away when you feel that pain. It doesn't have to be that way. And I learned it for myself too. How can you, like, any suggestion, any advice to help us realize that, wait a minute, let's look what inside before just taking the medicine?
Absolutely. Well, one of the things is about being aware, like
Right.
awakening and aware. And so if somebody gets a headache, especially let's say women, they get headaches right before their menstrual cycle, or you know, they eat certain foods and they get a headache, and that's an indice. Instead of just taking a medication, you go, wait a second, every time I do this, this is what happens. And
Right.
then you start to be like, oh, I'm taking care of this organism known as me, like to really learn about you. And then you take precaution. You know, you don't, you become conscious. It's really about consciousness. And so when that is, yes, you can take something to stop the pain. The thing is that, you know, it can be coming from many different things. And of course, you know, before we had mentioned things like stress, you know, someone gets stressed, their shoulders get tight, the
Right.
blood flow gets restricted to the head, their eye, you know, they're on the computer, and then they get a headache, right? And so taking the medication will stop the headache, but the cause is really a behavior. And so really like looking at, oh, I can change my behavior and not and then feel better. And that's that power, right? We have that power to make choices.
I love it. I mean, we can practice this right away, starting from today,
Absolutely.
guys. After you listen and watching this video, this show, I mean, you don't have to wait for you to have a headache and then practice,
Right?
right?
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure
so
there's always something that someone has that's annoying. They go, oh, I don't know why, my sleep, my digestion. To observe yourself, right?
well, let's talk about sleeping a little bit because yes, a
Right.
lot of people have the problem, the challenge of falling asleep easy, right? They just stay up, I mean, and then take a sleeping pill, melatonin, and still not working. How can you help with that?
Okay, so this is a great topic, and I've actually written a lot about, you know, for articles. What people need to, there are a few things. If you're not sleeping, well, first of all, you gotta like get off of your electronics earlier, because a lot of the screens, they stimulate your optic nerve, right? And so even after you close your eyes, it's still firing off, and that can cause the racing thoughts, right? Making sure you're drinking enough water. The other thing too is to go to bed or lower lights, right? Because lowering the lights also signals your body to make melatonin. And melatonin is known as the hormone of darkness, and it's also considered like a yin. It's a yin substance, right? So nighttime is yin, daytime is yang. And then the other part is like you want to get up with the sun and go out and get light. So that way you're actually helping to balance and also be in alignment with the earth, right? So as the earth is going into the nighttime, you also need to energetically go with that flow. So that's how you're in balance and in the cycle. Thing is people stay up because they can, right? And then what happens is they actually disrupt their biorhythm or also their circadian rhythm. And it really has an effect. So it's not just the amount of sleep, it's when you're sleeping. So literally like making sure to get to bed earlier is going to help your body produce the melatonin, and then it's going to be easier to go into sleep because you're helping the natural process, right? And that's designed for us, right? Because we also make serotonin during the night. We need to get the rest, otherwise we don't make it. You know, it's really amazing, like the things like melatonin, serotonin, from a chemical perspective, they have very much the same molecules, including like dopamine too, the things to make you feel good. So there's a big incentive. You sleep, you will feel better.
Are there any natural way besides, like don't watch the screen or go to bed earlier? Are there any other way that we can practice so that we can, besides go to sleep earlier, and I mean falling asleep fast, but to really sleeping deep? Because a lot of time, including myself sometimes, I wake up and I still feel tired. I feel like, man, I didn't feel like I'm getting any sleep last night.
Yeah, so that means you're not getting the deeper levels of sleep. And that means your body is in that more of that yang phase, the very sympathetic stress phase. So one of the things to do is definitely the day and the night part. You want to look at the foods that you eat, because if you have inflammatory foods, it's going to cause your body to be inflamed and awake. Also, lowering the temperature of where you're sleeping. From a feng shui perspective, you have to get rid of all the clutter. No computers in the room where you're going to sleep. It's like a special room for sleeping. And the mindset around sleep, which is like a big thing, is to know that it is an activity. It's an important activity. And so just like when you're going into do work, you have to prepare yourself, right? What am I going to talk about? So with sleep, you want to make sure to create a ritual. You can use essential oils that help with sleep, calming. Most people right now have a lot of anxiety.
Yes.
Very anxious. And so things like vetiver and bergamot have psychoactive properties like Valium. So will actually calm the nervous system down. I also recommend, if you get acupuncture, it also helps you to reset your nervous system and help your body balance, right? It actually works very naturally with it. So those are some things that you can do for sure. The other is, before you go to bed, do the gratitude exercise.
Oh, okay. I do in the morning.
You are grateful. Yeah, you do gratitude. I'm grateful that I'm lying in bed. Whatever, like the small, because we know that changes your brain chemistry. Right? And so you go to bed having good thoughts. Most people, before they go to bed, they think about all the things that went wrong. They're like, this didn't happen, that didn't happen. They go through the list of negative things or the things they need to do. And so they go to bed with a busy mind. And when you think about like, all the good things that happened, positive things, and and be, have gratitude for, oh, I got to bed early, like, oh, I saw, I had an extra glass of water. Every single thing. I can feel my toes, I can, wiggle my fingers. Like, that's going to change the energy, and then you'll go to sleep with positivity.
See, maybe I practice the wrong thing, because because before I go to bed, I kind of rehearsal what I want to happen the next day, So then, and again, this is from some self-help book, right? Like rehearsal what you wanted to happen, but it's keeping my mind awake when I'm sleeping, right?
Okay, so instead, the practice is gratitude like it already happened. Because that's also like what I wanted to happen. You just be grateful that it's already happened, or be grateful it's happening. Right? Like, this is one of the practices also that I work with my patients that are trying to get pregnant.
Okay.
Right? We look at like creating a vision board and really just know that everything you're doing, because they go, oh, it's not happening, it's like every single thing that you're doing is an activity that's moving you towards that goal. And so with everything you've done, so it's not like it's not enough, I need to do more. It's really like, okay, I'm so grateful, I've charted myself, I'm so grateful that I took my prenatal vitamins, I'm so like whatever that is, that you have that. And I think to shift, because you do want to like manifest.
Yes.
It is like when you're sleeping, it does send the energy out. But I think if you try it, and I'm
going to try tonight.
You just be grateful. The exercise, like, I'm so excited that I'm already on ABC 15 or like, right?
Yeah.
Or like already like either.
I'm gonna practice tonight, and then I'm gonna message you on how I feel tomorrow. This is awesome. Okay, so now let's go back to the Chinese medicine.
Yes.
You're talking about it came from herbs, the natural plant and stuff like that. How is that? Like, do you have, like, if you have a headache, then you take this pill or something, or explain more a little bit about those?
Okay, so very the paradigm is very different from a Western paradigm. So we're brought up in the Western medical model. Let's say is that you have a problem, you get a diagnosis, and you get a pill, we give you surgery.
Right.
And so Chinese medicine, they understand like what is the healthy state of the body, what is naturally healthy, and how to get there, right? So much of it has to do with the self-knowledge, and then also what is the underlying pattern, because let's say a headache is not the same for everyone.
Right.
But if you give the same pill, so the difference is that we're treating the individual. We're treating the person that has the pain versus the condition, right? So the condition is the symptom, but we're always treating the individual, right? Because the individual is having that experience.
Right.
And so there's a classic saying in Chinese medicine is different treatment for the same disease, same treatment for different diseases, because it really depends on the individual. So in Chinese medicine, we have certain types. So let's say we have a type of personality type and a body type and an energy type.
Right.
Very much in the West is a very type A personality.
I hear that.
Go, very adrenal, and so we're going to look at someone who has that kind of energy and physique and go, that gets sick is very different from somebody who is not as tightly wound, right? Because the person who's very go, you have to accommodate the energy around, they want to get, better, faster. They want to do more, more, more. And for them, the thing that is the most difficult is they need to do less. Like the part of their health issue is the constant like tension that's there. So always considering that person, we would look at, let's say, an herbal formula, or even with acupuncture, is something that helps to unwind the tension in order for their body to then heal. Because as long as they're so tight and stressed that they keep putting themselves into that sympathetic fight or flight.
Right.
So we know that, okay, in order for the body to go into healing, there's an aspect we have to address of the individual, right? And so that's just kind of an example, but we've been seeing so much now with the pandemic, how, people that are supposedly healthy are very sick.
Right.
And a lot of it has to do with their body types, their energy, how they take care of themselves, what is the definition of health.
Yeah.
We have all these beliefs about what's healthy, but the fact is that we lead very unhealthy kind of lifestyles.
See, what I hear is like you heal from the root. What is it that caused the symptom, rather than take care of the surface and just take painkiller and then it's kill the pain but not really kill the wounds, right?
Right. And so in the example of the person who's very tightly wound, what's important for them is to become aware that how they go about their life is contributes to their discomfort and their so they need to kind of become aware, like, oh, I need to go to bed earlier. I need to work on some meditation or breathing exercises, to calm myself down before I go to bed, so I don't wake up, all tense, right? So I can't do that for them. They have to learn, to do it. I help to facilitate so they actually experience that feeling, and so they also will know what it feels like to have that relaxation.
So how can people from, I know you're in New York, right?
Yeah.
So how can people from outside New York get to work with you and receive the service from you, the help from you?
That's a good. Well, I guess I'm going to have to create a program. Is what I mean. I have a lot of that I've written, and I think I need to create some kind of a program, like to help people to really be able to choose and figure out how to integrate it. I know I've done a lot of interviews on integrating Eastern and Western medicine, so that people can understand that it's not like one or the other,
right?
But really to integrate it and to use it, become, informed about their choices, right? So that they make better choices and have better outcomes.
Because I want to work with you. Like I want to go to you when I feel whatever I feel, like in terms of my health, and because you heal from the root, not just, here, Neem, this is the pill, right? And I used to get sick. This is 4 years ago. I used to get sick every single month until I had walking pneumonia. And it's just like COVID, that I could not see anyone, no one can come close to me. And I was like on my bed and I thought to myself, like, how did I get here? And then I learned that it's because of my mindset. I programming it already that I'm just not feeling good, and then I shift my mindset and I said, I am well and healthy every day. I'm just saying it every day. And since then, I never get sick. I didn't take any medicine. I didn't go see the doctor at all. So I think the program online will be a great way to reach out to you and to learn more and to be able to get some help from you.
Yeah, I'd love to do something with you and help help people to learn that. And it's true. Like really what one of the things that Jim Quick had said was you don't have to believe everything you think, right? And oftentimes we have these beliefs. Now, we've got a lot of power over the outcome, but it doesn't mean to stay up all night long and just be, I'm not going to be tired, right? It's kind of like, I mean, you can do that like once in a while if you really need to like do something. But the thing is that we also have to, take action, like drinking water, eating good food, like all of those things. And really, we do have the ability, and this is to command ourselves to be well. But the thing is that we don't know that we have it, and then we also, a lot of people give up because you still have to do this other work.
Yeah.
Right. One of the things that I say is the healing you seek is already inside of you. It's really,
I love it.
Like, yeah, I mean, I'm a facilitator. I'm like someone who kind of helps to move, the energy, like to help you move your energy, right? And then once you feel it, you're like, oh, I know what it feels like. And this is like, then you have a reference point of feeling better, right? So a lot of times people are like, wow, I forgot, I actually feel better, right? They're so used to feeling bad. And then when they don't have the pain, they go like, oh, I just realized it doesn't hurt anymore, right?
I love it. My aha moment is the healing you seek is already inside you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shou, for being
You're
here.
welcome.
Yeah, and how can people find you?
Well, easy to find me on Instagram. I have under my name.
Okay.
The at Tsao-Lin Moy. That's probably easier.
Like one word, right? It's all one word, right?
Yeah. Yes. And of course, there's my website, which is integrativehealingarts.com.
And check out your book as well. Tell us a little about your book.
The book is called Will I Ever Get Pregnant? The Smart Woman's Guide to Get Pregnant Naturally Over 40. Much of what we were talking about in today, there is a lot of the wisdom in there of, and in particular for women trying to conceive, that they encounter a lot of obstacles. And many of them are, because of the health system that we're in, the beliefs that they have, they're trying, their perfection, their ideas about things, trying to do everything. And like so many of those processes block that energy, they clog the energy. And really this is how I work with my patients, as aside from not just the acupuncture and herbs and stuff. It's really pulling together all of that to support them in all of them, the whole health.
Well, guys, check out Charles' book for pregnant women, but also for husband. Just buy this book for your wife and give her this gift. Seriously, it's going to be a blessing for you, for your family, and let's connect together with Tsao, and she can help you with all the healthy mind-body connection. Is not just the Asian Chinese medicine, but many more that you can learn from her. Thank you so much, Shou, for being here with us. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Nim.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I will invite you to come back again for sure. So many things that I can learn from you. Thank you so much.